Welcome back to another episode of Planning Engineered. Today I want to do a short video talking about fountain pens and field notes. Today is fountain pen day, and I've been able to gather a nice little collection of pens over the last few years. So I'm going to go through those very quickly, and then I'm going to answer one question that I had myself. Are field notes fountain pen friendly? They use this 60-pound, in this case bright white paper that technically is not fountain pen friendly. So we're going to explore different nib sizes and ink choices here, and we'll find out if they are or not fountain pen friendly. So let's get these out of the way. Let's put them on this side quickly. And let's go over through some of the fountain pens that I own, in really no particular order. This one is a Mont Blanc, really special pen. This was my father's pen, and as you can see the nib, it's a beautiful bird, 18 karat gold nib, really beautiful. Needs to be cleaned, obviously being used quite a bit. If you go to my Instagram, I have a really close-up view of it. Again, really special pen, just sentimental value being from my dad, but also the piano accents here. I've been taking piano lessons, so every time I use this pen, it kind of reminds me of both those things, and it just feels very, very special. Let's move these up here a little more centered. These two are Twisbys. These are really, really popular, really, really affordable. The Eco is one of the, again, the ones I've seen the most overall everywhere. Writes great, has a beautiful nib, really smooth. All of these are in fine for the most part. I'm not sure what size this Mont Blanc is, but it writes a little thicker, so I'm guessing it's either a broad or even a double broad. The Kawecos here, again, very similar. The Parkeo is one that is really simple, really I just bought it because I thought this one was gorgeous. Full black nib. This is kind of my trial ink pen right now. I don't even know what I got. I got a few samples from Glib Pens, and I just inked it, and this is a nice dark gray. We'll take a look here in a little bit, but this is a really nice. I really enjoy the Kaweco nibs. I will say this one for some reason is a little scratchier than the Sport. Seems to be the same nib, same everything, but a little scratcher. This one, no twisting, nothing, just pulls out. I really like these to, again, quick meeting notes and anything that just requires quickly putting it out and capping it. I struggle just leaving it open and them drying out. This one I highlighted in a recent video, the Kaweco Sport collection in this olivine has become quickly one of my favorite ones. It looks gorgeous. It sounds simply amazing. Really love it. This was my first fountain pen. The Kaweco Sport in this green, again, continuing with the green theme. Twisting, feels really nice, really, really light, super compact. Great pen to just carry around and really writes beautifully. And lastly, kind of the different of the bunch here is this Traveler's Company fountain pen. What I like about this one is the form factor. It extends to be almost like a full-size pen. If you compare it to, let's say, this Twisby, which is fairly large, it's almost bigger than that. So really, really great, comfortable, enjoyable to write with. And as you can see, the nib, it's actually a Kaweco nib, and that made it so much better, so much more enjoyable to write with, and has been great. So let's jump into a few writing tests. So let's put again these ones to this side over here, and right now this is my current notebook. This is the Field Notes Everglades National Park. What I like about these ones, these National Park editions, this one actually I traveled with a few months ago to London. I put a sticker on there, and I have a few things. It's actually got pretty chunky once I took it there. is the cover. Just wears super nicely. Had it in my pocket most of the trip. Yeah, it just wears super nicely. A few more things here that I had. These are some other ones that I haven't used. The floral edition, the fall flowers edition, and then this river is alive edition. These I haven't used. I've used different ones in the packet, but are really nice. Let's go back to this kind of last page and let's see if this. One of my kids was writing there, so let's use this page for an example. What I like about these field notes is so you can just really beat them, and they are really great. So I'm gonna write quickly with these. We'll speed up the video and we'll come back and see how much ghosting and maybe even bleed through we see with this paper. And just to remind you, this is a 60-pound bright white paper. So it is not a Tomoe River, it's not Midori, it's not one of the great well-known paper manufacturers, but I'll show you here. I found that, again, depending on certain pens and certain conditions, if you will, these can be a great fountain pen paper. So I'll be back here in a little bit. Okay, so as I was writing this, kind of remind me of a few things. So again, you can see the Mont Blanc, really thick lines. I am pretty sure it's gonna be a broad or even double broad. The Twisby, fine, I was gonna run out of ink, but you can see really beautiful lines there. You had the Kaweco, this was the Parkeo. Again, I'll show you a couple of things with that, and then the Sport with the green, the palm green from Kaweco as well, and the Traveler's fountain pen with the Kaweco nib. So before we go back and see that, I want to show you this. So if you look at this Kaweco, you can hear how scratchy that sounds. Meanwhile, the Sport, let's do this was the same nib, the Sport and the fountain, Charles Company fountain pen, but this one, it's a lot smoother. I do not know why. It does not bother me a lot. I actually like the scratchiness at times, but just something to note if you are interested in getting one of these pens. Now let's turn the page. You can see a couple things. I had a strong start there. One of my pens was actually out of ink or dried out, so you can see some of that bleed through there. The Mont Blanc definitely ghosting, a little bit of bleed through there. Totally expected. Super wet pen with a really thick line. Not even surprised. The Twisby, surprisingly well. I see a little bit of ghosting, but there's no bleed through. And then the Kawecos are exactly what I use on these notebooks, so I'm not even surprised that it's just minimal ghosting, no bleed through at all. You can see this Kaweco Parkeo here, so that's this line right here, the one that is a little scratchier. Those bleed through for some reason. Again, I'm not sure. It looks like the same nib as the Sport, but for some reason it's a little scratchier. It's the same thickness and bleeds through like crazy on some of this paper. So the final question, are field notes fountain pen friendly? And honestly, the answer kind of depends on what kind of fountain pen you own, as well as the nib size and the ink. Obviously, I found that this Kaweco ink is fairly dry. It gives me really clean lines, which I love, and I haven't had any issues with the Kaweco Sport with palm green or the black ink. I use these two all the time on my notebooks. It's just enough friction in the paper that feels super nice to write with, and really enjoy it. And like you can see here, really, it's almost no bleed through. There's no bleed through, but just minimal ghosting. So I'll say yes, I'll continue using fountain pens with my field notes. This is something I was a little hesitant in the beginning, and I know there's a ton of videos out there saying field notes are not fountain pen friendly, but you saw I wrote with all of these. Again, don't expect a super inky fountain pen to work here, but you can definitely use fountain pens on these field notes. Happy Fountain Pen Day. Really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. I may do some other ones in the future, reviewing some of these field notes and kind of what I use them for. At the time of this recording, I have about 10-15 already filled up, and I really enjoyed them. So happy to make a video in the future. For now, let me know which fountain pen you have and what ink do you have in it. And yeah, leave a comment with that. I always enjoy seeing and reading what other people are using in their notebooks, and this is my small but mighty collection that I enjoyed writing with. This is a compliment to all my other pens and colors and all that. So really enjoy these pens. Let me know in the comments below which one of these is your favorite pen and which one is your favorite pen in general, and I will read you in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.